Hey there, Jonas here. Thanks for coming back. Today we have a lot to cover, so let's get started. In this video, we will have a deep dive into naming conventions and how the past patterns and past values can be used to build up our folder structure and naming convention. The general idea is that you define in the global settings the overall naming convention, and on the library level, for the different proxy formats, we can create overrides. Let's have a look at the pass configuration. At the top, here you have these boxes, and these tell us that there are different pass values. The pass value types can be static or dynamic. There are 5 different types, and these are color-coded. Custom, this is a custom text that you can define. Generic are generic characters like a dot, a dash, underscore, or a slash. Then there are the pattern keys. These are keys from the past patterns that can be used in other past patterns. Then there are default values. These are predefined values, often dynamic, which will be evaluated on ingest time or render time. For example, it can be the width or the height of a media file. And the last one are the value keys. These are the past values that you can define and then override wherever needed in the settings. In the file path definition, everything comes together. Here we define the file path for the main element and the additional files, and we can specify how file paths look like for a single file, which could be a movie file, and sequences of files, for example in EXR sequence. We want to separate the main file from the additional files, because the additional files could be in a subfolder that's living in the main directory of the element. We might want to treat them differently. Let's have a look at the past patterns. Expand the view to get a better overview. This might seem a little bit confusing at first, but let's break it down. Let's start with the resolution folder. Each of these lines are the so-called path builders. At the bottom, you can see the tokens that are used to build up that path pattern. And at the top, you have a little line called preview, which uses example values to show you how the final output might look like. The resolution folder is built up of the width, followed by an X, and the height. The gray box in the center, the X, is simply the character X that we input. The gray color indicates that this is a fixed value that will not change. The width and the height is evaluated during render time and is depending on the media file. Let's scroll down and click inside the path builder. Here you have several options to choose from. Clicking on the top will close the tab, and we can see all available sections that we have at the moment. The generic characters, the patterns, these are the other patterns that are available, and the default values. In the default values, you can see the value for an example asset. To see all predefined element attributes, we can click this Show More button to show all the predefined element attributes. These are divided into different groups. For example, information about the element, about the resolution, or the source media file. On the left side, you will find all the different file paths of the asset in the library. These can be very useful. Let's close these predefined element attributes. Let's create an example. In the resolution folder, we want to have an additional information about the media file that's living inside that resolution folder. Is it the main element, the thumbnail, or maybe the proxy movie? What we can do here is create a new path value and call it resolution type. By default, the resolution type for the main element should be main. On the library level, we are now able to override that resolution type depending on the proxy type. To include this path value in the path pattern of the resolution folder, all we have to do, click in the box, search for a resolution type, and now this will be added at the end of our resolution folder. If we want to move it in front, all we have to do is drag and drop it to the front. Maybe we want to add another underscore in there. Select it, move it around, and this is how you can build your file and folder names. Click Save, and let's go to the library. Let's scroll down to the thumbnail. And here we want to override the pass value to be thumbnail instead of main. So we select the resolution type. The blue text indicates the current value for this pass value. And here we can simply override this. Let's go back to the global settings, pass configuration, and have a look at the file extension. At the moment, it is using the source extension for all the files. But for our thumbnail, we want to have the file extension JPEG. What we can do is we can pack these source extensions and replace them with a pass value. We scroll down, we create a new pass value, and we call it extension. The value for this could by default be the source extension. In the predefined element attribute section, if we hover with the mouse over the keys, we can see how the pass pattern will look like. A simple click will copy this pass pattern to the clipboard, and now we can paste it down here at the pass values. Let's hit save, go to our library, scroll down again to our thumbnail, and now here we can create a new pass value and override the file extension to be always JPEG. There's one more thing that we have to do in the global settings to actually get this extension override working. We have to remove this source extension and replace it with our pass value. Now it will use the correct file extension as defined in our pass values and the overrides on the library level. Let's continue. The pass file exists of base pass and file name. Base pass can be found down here, and the base pass exists of yet other pass patterns, category, element, and resolution, and all of these can be found down here, category, element, and resolution. And here we have our resolution pass pattern. As you can see, it will replace the pass pattern up here with the value from down here. Same goes for the category folder, which will resolve to the category name. And the element folder will use these tokens here, category name, underscore, and element number. The element number is a counter that gets increased whenever we add a new element to that category. At the top at the pass file, we can see that it uses the file name. And the file name at the bottom uses again this element name. As you might have noticed, the pass sequence is missing the frame counter. So let's add it in here. And put the extension at the end. Now we defined our naming convention and folder structure. And depending on the media, it will resolve the dynamic values and output the final file path. And that's the end of this video. Thank you for watching. Take care. Bye.